Hey, you too. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it.
Sit your ass down. You hear my phone ring?
Man, hell no. Man, sit down. Man, I'm on house arrest. I don't even supposed to be over here. Get a nigga locked up, man. Come on.
Welcome to the sit down. Pull up a chair and stay a while. And here's your host, D.
Yeah, especially that book just came out.
Especially that. I got
book just came out.
I have to read that.
Oh yeah,
because that other one.
I finished it already. You gotta go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
You need to check
that
it out.
other one, man. That first one.
Yeah.
The Black Privilege.
Yeah.
Man, it was a lot of people that took the title wrong, but that book was good. It was like, it inspired me because I'm just like, man, really what the book is saying, you have the same 24 hours in the day as everybody else, regardless of what's going on. You really can't let nobody hold you back, and you really got to go seek opportunities, especially one of the parts in the book when he says about, don't ever tell somebody you can't do something. Take the job, figure it out when you get there.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, man, I'm a perfectionist, so everything for me has to be like, okay, it has to be like this first. You got to be able to do this before you can do that. I'm like, nah, take the job, get there when you do it. I just did a wedding. I had never shot a wedding that big. Did it. They loved it. They loved the pictures.
Yeah,
so
that dinner that you did on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, that was live.
Yeah, so, you just, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, man, especially when you need the money. You like, look, let me do this, pull it off, man. A lot of times I look at things from the perspective of like how most creatives would. So it's like me as a photographer, I'm looking at how another photographer is gonna look at my pictures versus how the customer is gonna look at the pictures. They ain't looking at all that technical stuff. They looking at the memories that you capture, the videos that you capture. They ain't looking at, oh well, here it looks like you used the wrong frame rate, or here it looks like your color balance was wrong. They don't care about none of that. All they care about is, does it look good to them? That's it.
Yeah.
So, but it definitely that anxiety plays a huge part. So I'm gonna definitely have to check out that book when it comes to that.
I like it because number one, he got an actual psychologist that throws his piece in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Robert Greene's books, how he'll throw a story and then he'll do he'll do like a personal relation to the topic, or he'll use a celebrity or use somebody and then go back in history and talk about and put reference. So when Charlemagne, he'll talk about a specific topic on anxiety or talk about a situational anxiety, then there'll be a doctor come in and he'll say, this is the medical terms, or this is why that makes sense. Or
that's perfect, because a lot of people will be like, oh man, he don't know what he's talking about, or he just talking out the side of his neck or whatever. But it's like dope that he was able to pull an actual professional, kind of like with me and my sister with the inner mind. She's the actual therapist, and I'm just the talking head. Like I'm talking from just my personal experience, and she's talking from a professional experience. So we can just like professional layman's, and then we bring those two together, and then they're able to see and kind of get that picture of like what's going on, because sometimes everybody doesn't understand technical talk. It's just like how I tried to explain yesterday about the whole thing about politics. It's like we assume that people can just go Google something and they don't understand what these candidates are talking about. Half these people can't even do their own taxes. You really think they're going to understand policies that these politicians are trying to implement and go there? It's like, nah, man. I was literally, when I went to go vote, there was I was in Fort Bend. So there's a whole proposition that was on the ballot that I knew nothing about. And it was basically about them, because they're trying to get money to build more schools. So I'm just looking at, only thing to me, I see build more schools, that means more taxes. That's that's all I hear now, especially, man, where we at, man, them taxes is ridiculous in Cross Creek. So I'm like, sometimes you got to fall back and you got to really try to help people understand what it is instead of attacking people and being upset with them about what you feel they didn't do. You're going to need to find out why they don't understand what they're looking at, or why they may not even have partook of the whole voting process, because they're just like, oh, you want me to go vote straight Democrat or straight Republican? But that's what most people do, because they don't understand what they're voting for. They just identify with a certain party,
that's the quickest thing to do.
Color, and it's the quickest thing
to go on a ballot. Just push the one button and leave.
And
versus actually pick.
Yeah, exactly. The Democrat might not actually be a part of, might not be implementing policies that you even care about. Same thing with that Republican. They might not be, against you. They might be for something that you're for.
But it's, it's crazy part. I was just talking to, we was looking at like a lot of the political ads. Yeah. And it was nothing but dirt. It's like there's no policy that you're talking about. It's just vote for this guy, not because of what he does, but because the other guy wants open borders, he wants crime, he wants this and this. That's like, all right. We know that's straight dirt, right? No one actually wants open board. No one wants crime. No one wants that. But I get that you're trying to say that his policy is so weak that it's going to allow it. But the commercials have gotten so basic. Yeah. Have gotten like this commercial would convince a 5th grader. You know what I mean? Like they're made for elementary school
kids. This is
kids.
true. But
and as an adult, you're sitting there like, you really spent millions of dollars making a commercial that only says this guy wants open borders. Vote for this guy. That's it.
And it plays on what it is. It plays on people's basic emotions. So it's like, I didn't know anything about Beto O'Rourke. I know that he had a DWI because of the commercial. I knew nothing about him, but I know that Beto O'Rourke is irresponsible because he had a DWI. I'm like, dude, he had a DWI, and we have another guy in the office who's done much worse. So you mean to tell me that I shouldn't vote for this guy because he has a DWI? That's the thing, is that he's human.
My favorite one is when he went on and said he would legalize marijuana, but then the commercial against him says he wants to legalize all drugs, including heroin.
Like shit, if you think about it, it's already legal. You can go to the doctor and get Oxycontin and all kind of other stuff. So it's legal. It's the thing. It's not legal on a street level. So it's like it's only legal if the doctor says, "Hey, you need this for your back." But if the doctor don't say you need it, it's not legal. And that's crazy to me. Like let the doctor dope you up. Hell, when I got my tonsils taken out like 2 or 3 years ago, the doctor literally prescribed me something. And I used to work at a pharmacy, so but I had never heard of this medication, and it was called methylprednisone or something like that. It was something. It was actually one of the medicines that Michael Jackson had been taking. Okay. And so, and it's a Control 2, which is like basically Control 2 is right before illegal drugs. So I go to the doctor because I'm like, man, the Tylenol 3 I gave me isn't working. I'm in the worst pain of my life. I go to the doctor. He prescribes me this medication. I go to like 3 different pharmacies because nobody carries it. So I go to the pharmacy inside the hospital and they have it. They give it to me. On the bottle, on the thing, it says only take 1 ml. Do not take more than 1 ml. Like, damn, 1 ml is little. Like, that's a very little amount. Most children, for cough medicine, you take 5 mls. So I'm thinking 1 ml, and I'm thinking how big I am. I'm like, bro, that's not enough medicine. So I took 1 ml the first time, and it kind of helped with the pain. The next morning I woke up, it was even worse than the day before. So I took more. I didn't read on the bottle that it said it could slow your heart down. I'm literally laying in the bed thinking I'm about to die. So this is medicine that a doctor can prescribe you. They can send you home with this medicine, and it's literally like, if you go from 1 ml to 2 mls, it can kill you. And they send you home with that. But you're telling me, oh, weed is bad. Like, bruh, I could eat 10 edibles. I might go a little crazy, but I ain't gonna die. But if I take 2 mls of a pain medicine, I'm out of there. They're gonna be reading my obituary. So it's like that's just weird to me. It's like it's like I said, they're playing your basic emotions. These drugs. You take these drugs every day.
Now let me ask you this too. Like I know a lot of people we talk about like the in the black community and how we don't put mental health as a priority.
Yeah, it's very taboo.
Yeah. Now, my question is, what like the history of experimental things and things like, do you feel like there may be a distrust in why black people wouldn't even want to go to doctors or wouldn't want to go to psychologists, and you know what I mean, like, because a lot of people don't want to talk about this as well, but I mean physical health is probably just the same. Like, it's a lot of black people that don't want to go to the doctor when they're sick or don't want to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And like I would rather, and it may be, some maybe though in the country or whatever, but there's a lot of people that don't even believe in immunizations.
This is true.
So I mean, I kind of started thinking like recently like is that like a correlation like with the distrust in any type of medicine, and or even like the issue of asking for help. Period.
It's twofold. We know that in the black community, everything for us initially, I didn't grow up in the church, right? But for most black people, spirituality is their base. That's like where all your problems go to. All your problems go to God. You sick, go to the doctor and go to God. You dealing with depression, go to God. You dealing with anxiety, go to God. Like all these problems go to God. So you got to think about the first thing is therapy is expensive. It's not cheap, right? And it was never a thing that we talked about. Like if it was like the thing we looked at as if you were dealing with a mental issue, you were weak. So there's that side of it. Then there's the side of distrust. People don't just distrust doctors. It's been that way. You got to think about the Tuskegee experiments. Like People don't go to the doctor. It's like, I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to let you inject some medicine in me because you're guessing about what the problem may be. So I'm going to let you put a needle into my arm to put the virus in me that's possibly going to prevent me from getting the newer virus. So the distrust isn't just a thing of, oh, we only believe in God, but it's a thing of we've seen throughout history where doctors kind of, experiment on black people. They play with black people's lives. It's like there's a whole thing right now where they're saying how black women are like when they're going through labor, how they literally have to beg and plead to get pain medicine when they're at the emergency room or when they're going through labor because the doctors don't believe in their pain. When on the flip side, it's like, oh, white woman or whoever else come in, they be able to get that medicine and they're able to get those things with no problem. So the distrust comes from various things throughout history, not just a thing of, oh, we're not going to get the immunizations. We know that certain immunizations lead to autism.
Yes.
We know that certain immunizations have caused people to become paralyzed. We know that certain immunizations have caused people to become even more sick and end up with something that's worse than what they were trying to prevent in the first place.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, going back to the psychological aspect, the mental health aspect, and it's like going to sit down with somebody. Black people won't go sit and talk to a therapist, but we'll go a lot of times because the school tells us, hey, you need to go take them to a psychiatrist. Because the psychiatrist says, hey, he running around, he don't sit down enough, he talk too much, give him this pill. That should calm him down. That should make him focus on his work. So it's like, plenty of people that don't send their kids to therapy, but plenty of people who have kids that are on ADD meds. Yeah. Because these are two different practices. One talks to you about how to handle and cope and deal with your problems. The other one talks to you about, hey, take this pill. The pill's gonna fix it.
You know what? It's funny that now, being in the education field, I kind of sort of have, like, I'm starting to understand the parental side of that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm special ed and I have behavior class, and I'm looking at these kids and I'm like, okay, for all these years you've been tearing up the place. Mom's tired of those phone calls home. So now that added pressure I can see that making the parents say, all right, let's go ahead and give them a pill because they call me one more time, I gotta leave work. If I leave work, I gotta get fired. And it's like, all right, let me go ahead and do it. I don't have time to personally sit here and work with this kid as much as it takes to get him to settle down and function in the class. Yeah. Because, I do that 8 hours a day. Mm-hmm. That ain't easy.
Especially when you at work and you're not supposed to be on your phone, and as a parent, you keep getting these calls while you at work. Oh, Johnny ain't sitting down. Johnny tripping. Johnny out here trying to fight. Johnny yelling. Johnny cussing. Johnny out here trying to fight people. So it's like all these different things that make it where it's like for a parent, I understand why they would take that route to say, okay, hey, I'm going to, go ahead and go take them to the doctor, let them doctor say that they bipolar, or let them say that they have ADHD, or they're dealing with anxiety or whatever, and give them a pill, and then for 8 hours out of the day, the kid seems normal, but in reality, they're not. And I think I think the thing is now, and what we've backed away from as people is understanding individuality, and understanding that we have a system set in place that says, if you're a fish, you can only swim. If you're a monkey, you can only climb. If you're a dog, you can only bark. So when the dog or the fish or the monkey does something different, it blows everybody's mind. It's like, why are you acting like this? Like, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be that way, because society has taught us that everybody's supposed to be within this box. So if this kid talks a little bit more than the other kid, he needs meds. If this kid is a little bit more aggressive than the other kids, he needs meds. If this kid can't sit down long enough, which that was me, as the other kids, he needs meds. But we're not meeting some of these students. Some of these students do have real issues. Some of these students have engagement issues. And so you have to engage everybody differently. Working in management, I understood that. You manage each employee differently. You manage each problem in your life differently. You don't say, okay, well, if there's a fire, I'm gonna throw water on it, because water should put the fire out. So now, if there's something that's dealing with electric, you wouldn't throw water on it. Yeah. So that you handle these problems differently. But the thing is that everybody's saying that everybody has to fit within this box, and if they don't fit within this box, then we just give them a pill And that should fix the whole issue. But the thing is, these kids get older, probably don't have insurance, and they can't take these pills no more. So for 18 years of their life, or basically from grade school to they turn 18, they've been on pills. Then 18 comes, you've been told from basically grade school till graduation, you're disabled. You have a disability. You don't know how to pay attention. You don't know how to act right. So we've been putting pills in you. Now you're 18. You really hadn't got you, because a lot of times when they put these disabilities on you, you end up in like certain types of learning environments where you don't really learn. So now you get pushed through the system. These kids graduate. They don't have no real skills. They don't have no real education. And then they struggling as adults because they can't afford to get the ADHD medicine no more.
Well, I think too also it's like there's no one pill that will solve all of the different mental issues or aspects of why a student may have mental issues. Like they're coming from either a traumatized background or traumatized,
True.
environment, right? And so, and all of those have an effect on your brain one way or another. And so it's like, if you're going to tell me, all right, I'm going to give you one pill, that's just saying I'm going to slow you down. I'm going to tire you to where whatever you're dealing with is not going to be out while class. But, after 3 o'clock when that bus drop you off at home, that's on you.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, you're probably in your natural habitat, so you probably won't get as off the chain as you would in school.
Yeah.
But at the same time, no one is figuring out what that problem is. We just want it to stop. So we're going to give you a slow down pill.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a chill
That's
pill.
exactly what it is.
We're going to give you a chill pill and say whatever your issue is, whether it's ADHD, ODD, whether it's autism, whether it's schizophrenia, you're going to stop for these 8 hours. So I can teach.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get
Because like at school, you get the pill. At home, you get the belt.
And so it's like, and the thing is like, okay, what's the point of the pill? Is it really to solve you, or is it really to make it easier on the school, or is it make it easier to handle you? Because like you said, once you don't have to be handled anymore, then what? Right? You go off in the real world and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And I used to see that all the time, especially when I was working for the state, working at the food stamp office. These kids that basically went from their parents, especially is incentivized for a lot of parents to be like, yeah, their kid does have ADD or whatever, because then they get a check. They get them checks.
I filled out paperwork for a lot of different kids, so
now they get that check. So it's like it's
is.
incentivized now. It's like, oh yeah, my kid do got ADD, or my kid is bipolar, and now your parent getting that little SSI check, that little $733 a month because you can't act right in school.
What's crazy is like, I guess not because of that incentive as well. You would notice that more people were so quick to do that, but for themselves. Like you said, it's weak to admit that I have a problem. But if my kid,
but this is the weird thing about ADD. It's only a disability when you're a child from like newborn to 18.
Yeah.
It's a disability.
From 18.
Once you turn 19, like, nah, bro, you ain't disabled no more. You need to go get a job. You can't pay attention. You shit out of luck. Yeah. So that's how the game is played. That's how I know it's such a flawed system. Like I had ADD growing up. Thing is, I never took medicine for it. I didn't take medicine for it until I was an adult. The crazy part about the test is I went in. They give you this it's like this basic pamphlet, right? It's like this thing. Do you have trouble sitting down for a long period of time? Do you notice that when you're reading, you get distracted easily? It's like basic stupid questions. Like if you're any type of smart, you can answer this question to get the pills you want.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And so. It's not an in-depth test. And then what happens is you go in the office after you fill this out, and the doctor reads it, like, oh yeah, it looks like you do have ADD or ADHD. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to prescribe you this certain medicine. So the first thing they prescribed me was Strattera, which is a non-stimulant, right? So it's like your baseline ADD medicine. Take that. I'm like, no, I don't feel any smarter. I don't feel like I'm paying any more attention. Like I still feel like I'm procrastinating and I'm lazy. I need what's gonna not make me lazy? I need something stronger. Give me something that's stronger. Cool, we got something else for you. All right, we're gonna take the Strattera away. We're gonna prescribe you a medicine that's without insurance. It's $745, but with your insurance, it's only gonna cost you $35, right? And it's called Vyvanse. Right, it's like 25 milligrams. We start you off there, and it goes all the way up to 70, I think. Just, okay, take that. Boom. Oh man, I feel amazing. I'm at work. I'm in training. I'm taking the test. I feel like I'm engaged. I'm focused. But what happens is when you come down off that medication, you're irritable. Like it's like your body goes from hyper focused, hyper locked in to I don't know how to feel right now. And it was like my wife, she would like notice. It was like like I'm irritable. I don't really want to be bothered. I was frustrated. I also couldn't sleep because it's like somebody hits you with like 50 cc's of caffeine in the heart all day. It's like it makes you jittery. The medicine is like it's like you've seen Limitless. Yeah, it's like that. It's like all of a sudden you're able to recall and understand information that nobody else can understand, that you were having a hard time with, but all of a sudden it's all right here now. And so the only way I can really describe it is it makes me feel like how I feel Asian and Indian kids are all the time. Like it's like this hyper recall of information and being able to understand and remember things all the damn time. And I'm just like, my mind doesn't work that way. I'm a creative, so my mind is always in random spaces and spots. And so it's like on certain subjects, super knowledgeable. On some subjects, it just depends on how I'm feeling, if I can recall information or not. So that makes a big difference.
Man, the craziest thing is like when you had described how your mind be going in all these different places and stuff like that, and I was just thinking about how like the big emphasis on anxiety. Nowadays we were just talking about Charlemagne's book, and like I was thinking of this day, I was like, isn't some anxiety warranted? Like, shouldn't you have anxiety for certain things? Like if you walked around with no warning system, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't you walk?
That's a really good way to look at it.
You know what I'm saying? No spidey sense at all. Like I'm just walking this gunfight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I after reading that book, like it really makes you think about all the decisions or the decisions that you didn't make.
Yeah. Because
of anxiety, and you didn't even realize that the reason why I chose not to, deep down inside, was really because of anxiety.
Yeah.
Right. And I know you spoke about a lot on your Facebook posts about like fears, anxiety, and fears, and how sometimes that takes a bigger toll than people think about.
Yeah.
Especially when it's making big decisions like starting your own business and jumping into that, a new job like we were just talking about too. So man, and especially with like so many dang businesses that you got, like how has that like mean, like how can you see like affected you and coming through like your different business ventures and stuff like that, and I guess for other people, like what would you say to them?
For me, the biggest thing was my anxiety starts off early.
Do you need a drink or anything? Do you need candy? Are y'all recording?
Yes.
She cool.
Yeah. So for me, like coming through and dealing with my anxiety started off at a young age. Everything for me was always based around like. Really anxiety starts for us kind of early. Like it's embedded in us because of the whole testing system with TAS. So it's like, oh, you're teaching. Hey, this month, TAS test. Just get ready. Like, we got to pass this test. If you don't pass the test, the school not going to get funded. And it's like all these things that are like, all these things on your back, right? And what happens is that really realistically, it's like when in the beginning, it was like from like first to like basically all the way through middle school, the TAS really didn't affect you.
Yeah, well, after 3rd grade, 5th grade.
Well, it didn't keep you from passing.
Yes.
So back in the day, you just, it was like, okay, cool. This is kind of where they said you were placed on this level. This is where you are with it. If you aren't, if you aren't our part, then this is what we'll do. But it wasn't this like major thing where they kind of like shut you down because you didn't pass the TAS test. Yeah. So it's like we spent all these years going through school where it's like it don't count. Then you get to your senior year, and they're like, if you don't pass this test, you can't graduate. So all these other years, you basically let me skate by and not have to, pass this test or barely get by with being good at this test, to where now it's going to affect me and I might not be able to graduate. So we start there, right?
Like I even take it one further and you continue. When I was in college getting my bachelor's to teach, they would tell us that there are certain districts that will send home a check based on your kid's score.
Oh, yeah.
So not only is you worried about passing, some kids are like, dude, I got to pass this test so we can eat. Like, imagine that anxiety.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what was the apartments you used to live in back in the day? Was it Bentworth or whatever?
Yeah.
They used to have, my mom tried to move into these apartments, right? then they want your kids' progress reports,
bro.
And if your kids' progress reports, if they had like N's or U's on their progress report, they would deny your application. And I was like, that is crazy to me. So there's like all these things that were kind of tied. Like a lot of people don't know certain things, but there's things that's tied to that. And I remember that as a kid. I was a kid in middle school when that happened. So now let's fast forward. So people always say, man, Warren, you got all these talents, man. You bake, you do video, you do music production, you sell desserts and all this different stuff, right? Now I do all these different things. But there's anxiety tied to that because it's like, okay, boom, this week I get 150 pudding orders, but then this week somebody also wants to do a photo shoot, and then somebody also wants a logo, and then somebody also wants a video shot. Now I can't do all these things. I'm only one person, right? So it's like trying to have structure with all these things and mingle all these things is great if you have a team. But if you don't have a team of people that can handle and that you don't have to touch, each one of these things for me is tangible. I have to physically touch them to make them possible. And I can't. So it's like I have to focus on one thing at a time. Now, for me, quitting a job, because everybody's like, oh, man, well, you got artist support. Support is different from people that pay money. People support you and people like you and they think you're dope. That don't mean that they're going to pay you. That also doesn't mean they have the money to pay you. So it's like I can have 5,000 Facebook friends, but my 5,000 Facebook friends can't buy pudding from me every week. They can't buy a photo shoot from me every week. They can't buy a music video from me every week. They can't buy a logo from me every week. Or they don't want to buy those things. And that's perfectly fine. I don't expect them to fund it. So the thing is that then you have to get out there and you have to actually meet people outside of the Facebook world, which was crazy for me because I'm so used to when I was doing music production, I made all my money online. I never had to go meet rappers. I made all my money online. So I made like $20K in 1 year just selling beats online. I didn't have to leave the house, or the comfort of my house. So when that started to die, and I actually had to like go meet rappers and go to these things and meet these people, and realize I don't like dealing with people like that, and especially people with these certain type of personalities that are just unlikable.
Do you think that may be an issue with people in general? Like, now that the social media wave has come and most people are so used to just simply communicating and making business transactions and doing all this stuff online, and then they get into certain professions that require you to now talk to someone in their face,
network.
And so it's like, okay, especially like with those who struggle with anxiety, it's easy to do this behind the screen because I don't have to. But then you get on the spot and you actually have to talk to somebody for the first time after after they've expected you to be, that guy, right? Because, online, you that guy, you known for da-da-da-da. And so when they meet you, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm finna come meet that guy. And then you're like, I ain't talked to somebody about this in a minute, like face-to-face.
And see, this is the thing. I'm like, and I may not seem like it on Facebook, but I'm very much an introvert. If I could stay in my house all day, I would. But the thing is that I gotta go. I actually gotta leave the house to go network and deal with people, and it's cool. Like when I'm in my element, I'm fine. When I'm shooting a video or I'm doing photography or whatever, I'm meeting customers for pudding. It's perfectly fine. It's the looming aspect of those things. So it's like, okay, people want to place pre-orders for pudding, right? So then all these orders come in. Now I got 30 people that I got to meet up with for pudding, and it's like this looming thing of now. Okay, I have
you don't even be
knowing.
knowing. Shout out Nard.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Like money just start coming to the
Nard.
PayPal. I'm like, who the hell is this that's paying me for?
You just sitting here for money.
Paying me for this stuff. So now I gotta prepare these pudding, right? And this is gonna sound real weird. So for me, I used to be scared to take pre-orders or deposits for anything. So I'm like, if I die, these people don't get their money back. This is how my mind works. My mind goes to like worst case scenario type stuff. It's like, or if I get sick and I can't deliver stuff this week, I be trying to support black businesses, but black businesses, they be messing up. They be doing this and they be doing that. And I'm just like, bro, I was in the hospital, I almost died. I'm one but a lot of people, I even try to explain this to Sneak. Shout out to my boy Sneaky Eats. I try to explain this to him too. It was like, customers are not going to understand. That's why they're customers and not business owners, because they're not going to understand that aspect of sole proprietorship. So when it's just you running everything, people see you got 100,000 followers. They think you got a whole squad behind you. You one person that make everything. You cook, clean, deliver, take orders, take shit, like everything.
That's
so
100,000 demands.
Exactly. So I'm just like, so I had to, I'm trying to get him to understand. I'm like, everybody not gonna understand that. Even me and Nara, that's talk all the time. Like, customers not gonna understand that your friend passed. Customers not gonna understand that you got sick, or your kids got sick, or your mama got sick, or your mama passed. They not gonna care about that. All they care about is I sent you $200 something. I sent you $40. I sent you $16. I want my pudding. I want my shoes. I want my gumbo. I want my shirts. I want my video that I paid you for. I want my pictures taken. Whatever they paid you for. And as a customer, I have to understand that. Because I would be the same way. I'm like, if Amazon told me, yeah, man, we couldn't ship your stuff because Grandma Amazon died.
Right.
Bro, I need that for a job this week. Or I ordered that for my people. So it's like, I don't expect them to be understanding, but that's what comes with this whole world of everybody need to be a boss, be their own boss, run your own stuff, do your own thing. And it's like, okay, cool. We can do that. But you need to explain to people what comes with that territory. Because it ain't just, oh yeah, I'm going to be balling. I'm going to be making all this money. Most entrepreneurs are broke. We robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of the situation. It's like, yeah, we're dope, but we also broke. I can put that on a shirt.
Now, let me,
dope, but I'm broke.
Yes, you need to. I'll buy it. I'll buy it when I get paid. But no, question though, because I was really thinking about this when you were just talking about it, like, is it really like black businesses? Because we even had like some conversations that we still need to further on about. But are those issues with black businesses? Like, as in no other businesses go through that? Like, white people don't each have those issues? Or what is the real issue with black businesses versus any other businesses?
It's not an issue with black businesses. What it is just that for some reason with our people, we tend to highlight any disgruntled behavior we may have with our own. So it's like we can walk at Walmart, nobody addresses us, nobody acknowledges us, nobody tries to help us, no nothing. And we'll continue to go there every day and shop. Go to the beauty supply, Chinese people every day. They watch you, think you're trying to steal every day. You still go there. Go to the stores that the Indians on. Go to the stores that whatever. And get treated like crap or don't get acknowledged or whatever. I've gone in Houston Camera Exchange plenty of times and I got addressed and still bought stuff there. Now, let somebody walk into Houston Camera Exchange and it's black owned. And they was in there 2 minutes and nobody addressed them. They finna run to social media. Yeah, see, I tried to go in the black camera exchange, but they ain't want to acknowledge me. They rude. They got terrible customer service. I'm like, you didn't even give anybody a chance to help you, or you didn't go ask for help, because you never know what's going on. So there's like a couple times I went to camera exchange and I had a bad taste in my mouth. So I met this one guy that worked there, and he turned my whole experience around and my whole perception of Houston Camera Exchange. So sometimes it's just about who you interact with and who you deal with, because you're gonna have good customers, you're gonna have good customer service and bad customer service everywhere you go. I don't care who it is. I've seen some. I finally saw a rude Chick-fil-A worker. Blew my mind, but it happened. And the thing is that we have to understand people are human. There's going to be error, but error doesn't mean bad customer service. And that's what we have to, we tend to forget. I worked at Ross and we used to run out of bags. Like we literally would run out of bags and we would be putting customers' stuff inside of trash bags. I'm like, that would never work in a black business. Like nobody would ever be okay with that. They would dog the mess out of a black business if they were putting stuff inside of trash bags. So it's like, what makes that okay? But it comes down to the way we treat each other has a lot to do with how we look at ourselves. So when we want to go and we want to dog somebody else, it's like, bro, if you had a business, you would never be okay with that. You would never be okay with somebody just coming down on you just because you made a mistake or you made an error that you were willing to fix. But it's like, nope. I'm gonna make sure everybody. I'm gonna ring the alarm about you. Like,
yeah, ratings going to ratings.
Black business is terrible. Don't even go there. They're terrible people. I'm like, bro, all I did was I delivered the wrong thing, and I was gonna actually let you keep that and send you one for free. But no, you just wanted to make sure you dogged me in the process because you needed to let everybody know that you tried to support a black business. Great, awesome.
So is it more so like, I want to bring you down so I can shine a light on myself, because we are, like you said, like most people don't pay attention to something unless it's like negative or bringing you down, or at least they pay more attention to the negative or something to bring you down. So it's like, do you think people subconsciously know that? So they say, okay, well, let me be the one that go online and be the one that blow up this person. Or is it like some kind of inner need to let everyone know that I was disserviced, and this is the guy who did it to me?
You know that's a tough one. That one I'm not sure about because I've seen it on both sides. I've seen where like customers like 'cause my thing is that it's this thing of they always have to highlight that it was a black business first. We're a business, period. Black, white, Asian, whatever. We don't go to the beauty supply and be like, I went to the Asian business. Like, no, I went to the beauty supply. We don't say we went to the black beauty supply. Or we went to the black Lubies or the white Lubies or the white Papados. No, we be like, I went to Papados. We went to the black restaurant week. No, it's restaurant week. Like we put that label in front of it because it's like it gives precedence to what we're about to say. It's like, oh, dealt with the black business. The black business was not up to par. They got 95% of everything right, but that 5%, I'm gonna make sure you know they messed it up. And it's like what's crazy is we're like that with a lot of things in society. But the thing is that for some reason with black people, when it comes to black businesses, they're very like they have unrealistic expectations of black businesses that most small businesses deal with around the world. It's like they run out of bags, they run out of supplies. Sometimes they might run out of food. Like especially when you run a food business. That's often. I've gone to Cheddar's plenty of times and I'm like, yeah, we all the green beans tonight.
My first job at McDonald's, we ran out of forks. They sent me to go to Kroger's and buy some plastic forks, and we was giving customers those. That's crazy.
Ross is $1 million, probably $1 billion company. We were going to Sam's and buying thank you bags to put people's stuff in because people were getting pissed. But the thing is, we also sell like big pillows and stuff, so people would get mad. There were people literally getting upset. He's like, you ain't finna put my stuff in trash bags. And I'm looking at her like, ma'am, you're either going to carry this out in your hand, or you're not going to buy it, or we're going to have to put it in the trash bag. That's the only option we have right now. And the thing was that, because the thing was like, oh, well, if they order the bags, then it goes against budget for that month. I'm like, bro, we got to put customer stuff in bags. What are you talking about budget? Like, this looks ghetto as hell. I'm putting this people's stuff in trash bags. And then me being the assistant manager on duty at that time, they ain't looking at like Ross is the issue. They looking at this. Look at this black. Look at this nigga. He got them putting shit in trash bags. Like you ghetto as hell. Like look at it. It's his idea. They ain't thinking it's the damn Indian manager who being cheap and he gotta make sure he make budget for the month. I'm like, bruh, customer stuff have to go in bags. And if anybody knows anything about me, they know I thrive on excellent customer service. I want to make sure that nobody ever says anything bad about me. I want to make sure I deliver top notch. My turnaround time for like pictures and video is ridiculous. Like you getting your stuff back next day.
Oh, I got mine the same night.
Same night.
I got mine the same night.
That's my anxiety because I don't like anything looming. I don't like the aspect of damn. I got these pictures I got to get done. So
that was the crazy part because I was like, they probably gonna be back for a week. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like it takes that much time. Boy, goddamn.
What's funny is if it's something with me, I'll procrastinate. Anybody else's project, or you getting it back quick, and it is just because I don't like things that loom and sit over my head. Yeah. And like I think that a lot of times that works to my advantage and to my detriment because I give people unrealistic expectations. You have photographers that tell you, oh, if I turn around time is 2 weeks, a month. I'm sitting in my head like, why would it take that long? But then I think about the photographers that are like working, and they taking on all these jobs or whatever, and
1,000 shots to choose from.
1,000 shots to choose from. So it's like it makes a big difference in the grand scheme of things. I gotta stop recording. I think it go like 30 minutes and it'll stop. But yeah, so like we get into this space with like black businesses where it's just like a lot of times people just have these unrealistic expectations. They come down on them very tough, and it's like, man, you'll go to any other business and deal with that level of customer service or that level of, whatever, and have no problem with it. But it's like it's always that thing where it's that first statement always followed with, my people got to do better. Black businesses got to do better. They got this and that. I'm just like, bro, why do you even have to start with that as the statement, as the precursor to your statement?
Now, question two, as a businessman, like I said, you dealt with all kinds of like different types of businesses. Like I said, beats, you're dealing with artists. You got food, you're dealing with everybody. You got photos, all this stuff you deal with all kinds of people. So, how important is that business reputation compared to the product, having a good product? You know what I mean? Because you showed me some of the crazy comments on your YouTube videos, and it just be like random, just people just going off on just some random stuff, just saying stupid stuff, right? And we can always, and that's funny. But then you also got those people, like you said, if you might have a bad pudding review, and that could pretty much hurt, or they say, oh, this pudding made me sick, or that can mess around. But at the same time, you can't doubt the thousands of people that said, man, this is the best pudding in the world. So it's like, have you noticed, like, what weighs more in a business, what people know and say, or what people can actually see, the actual product?
Well, let me speak outside of me. When I go to Yelp, I look at the bad reviews first. I don't know why, but that's the first thing I do. I'm like, let me go to the bad review first. But I don't know why we do that. It's like,
right, I was about to say, isn't that
10,000 reviews? There's 3 bad ones. Them 3 bad ones hold weight.
Isn't that human?
Yeah, we want to see, for some reason, we want to see the negative first before we go look at the positive. Because I'm like, a lot of times, the negative review be very in-depth. It'll be like, somebody, okay, I recently bought a strobe for my camera, right? It was like it's a big flash. And I'm looking at the reviews. All the reviews are good, right? But there's this one review that stood out to me, and it's the negative one. The guy's like, for the stand, this and that. And he details all these different things that he has an issue with. Reading the review, he really didn't have an issue with the strobe. It was like something completely outside of that. Yet that review was still holding a lot of weight to me. And I think it was because I was worried about spending the money because it was so much money. So it's the same thing like when you're going to a restaurant. It's like you read these reviews on Yelp and these people have such great comments about it, but you had those couple of people that have these negative reviews, and there's like certain keywords that really stick out to you that make you say, okay, this and that. Now, it works the same way for me with my business. I've never had anybody give me a bad pudding review. I've had people give me constructive criticism about certain batches that I knew when I made them, probably I should have did it differently. So when I was working at Methodist, I had
my
made
Thanksgiving order, by the way.
Straight up. When I was working at Methodist, I had made some pudding because everybody was like, oh, I was telling them I made banana pudding or whatever, right? So I had got all these orders for pudding, and it was a lot of them. And I was like, okay, I have to make it in bulk, and this is my first time making it in bulk. So I had never made really big batches before. So I make these big batches, and I usually put them in these metal like chafer dishes, and then put them in the refrigerator so they can cool down. But I didn't have something that was big enough to hold these double batches. Mm-hmm. So I had bought those the plastic food bins that have the measurements on the side. I dump all the pudding in there and I put it into the refrigerator. The plastic doesn't pick up cold as fast as metal does. So the pudding doesn't cool down fast enough, leaving it thin.
Okay. Yeah.
So as I'm going to package it, I'm noticing this consistency is a little off.
That's why you keep it in the ice chest when you deliver.
Exactly. So I'm looking at the consistency. I'm like, but it's done now. And the money is spent on the supplies. I got to run with what I run with. So in my head, I'm thinking, this might not. Yeah, I'm like, I'm delivering to everybody, and everybody seems cool, right? Nobody really saying nothing or whatever. But the one girl, this is her first time getting it. The girl at the job. I walk over to the desk and I'm like, how was the pudding or whatever, right? And she was like, it was okay. I can tell, what you were trying to do, but it was runny, and that hurt. Like, it cut deep. No matter how many people before me raved about the product, that one thing hurt.
You know what's funny? It's as long as we know each other. I mean, we get extra personal when we get on each other in the group chat. Like, we know no bar.
Yeah, exactly.
That hurt you.
That hurt me. That was because I think what it was because I knew. It was like, how you kind of know something, and it was like I just knew it. And I'm just like telling me that. And like what's the meme? What is it with John Wall where he crying? He got the tears in his eyes, but he looked like he trying not to cry. That's how I was. I felt like I was looking at her, like she's telling me this, and I'm just like, because I know that I knew I messed up, and everybody else, nobody said nothing. So after that, I started texting a few other people that had got the pudding, and I was like, be honest with me, tell me. He's like, yeah, well, it was a little too rich, and it was rich because it didn't thicken up, and so it was like when I got home, I ate one, and it was burning the back of my throat, and it was burning the back of my throat because it was too sweet. Because I didn't have my measurements together because when you're making a bulk batch, the measurements are different when you make those smaller batches. So it was too sweet, causing it to burn. You know, kind of that richness kind of makes that throat burn like Sprite. So you know, that crispy Sprite from McDonald's with the jumper cables, exactly. So like stuff like that will bother me. Now with Facebook, I'm so used to y'all. Like I kind of have this buffer because I'm so used to y'all getting on me. It's like I can post a picture, but like, yeah, man, I just lost 30 pounds, and one of y'all gonna come out here, you still fat as fuck. Like, you know, like we're no matter what. So I'm used to that. So like that don't bother me. I have thick skin when it comes to like dealing with people in those forms. And then like even on like YouTube, all my videos are usually like kind of middle of the road type stuff. Nothing that don't really upset anybody, but I made a video talking about how I didn't feel Tina Knowles disrespect to her husband. I didn't feel like it was emasculation. I did feel like it was disrespect, but I didn't address that. I only addressed the aspect of people talking about it was emasculation. This video has more comments on it than any of my other videos and more interaction. Like people were legit pissed at me. Like, nigga, you a simp. You a simp. You seen that bitch disrespect him and this and that. I'm just like, I've never seen people so upset with me. Like, and I say some really crazy shit sometimes. I'm like, why are you so mad at me? Like, and my thing goes, like, you're addressing something with me that I didn't even talk about. And the thing I think what's frustrating about that is because I don't know these people on Facebook. I can see your face. I know who you are. I can talk shit about you, talk shit to you. On YouTube, you don't even have any videos on your page. You're literally on my page talking shit to me. You have nothing on your page. Like, zero videos. So I'm just like, you know, stuff like that. It's like, we all have, like, I feel like everybody has certain insecurities or certain things that trigger them that we don't necessarily speak about. But you know me, I'm very transparent, and I'm transparent because then if I put it out there, I don't allow it to affect me. So nobody can talk about me better than I talk about myself. I crack the best jokes about me. Like Warren can kick Warren ass, but everybody else is like the jokes that they just funny to me because I was like, I've told the best fat jokes about myself. And when we get to that space where you're dealing with people when they're coming at you about a product, it's different because your product is your baby. And it's like somebody talking about your kids. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, like, you know, somebody coming and telling me, yeah, man, it was a little too runny. And especially when you know you might have made a mistake, that's going to bother you. When I sent a picture to somebody and she was like, well, like, I did the pictures for this girl and she was like, she liked the way her hand was placed. And it bothered me because at that point in my photography career, my weak point was posing people, especially people that aren't models. So you have to. It's weird trying to pose people that aren't models because they don't know how to translate it, and I'm weak at posing. So it's like we're kind of stuck. So like I'm going through all these pictures where she has her hand placed weird. I'm just like, she's not gonna like none of these pictures. So when you have a weakness, instead of like shying away from it, I had to learn to attack it and say, okay, cool, I'm gonna figure out how to fix this.
What I want to know is too, like, is it the thing, like, is it, I guess, do you feel like it's normal for those who do something really, really well to be sensitive about what they do? For instance, Nard. So our boy, dude is a beast on the shoes, you know. Somebody sit there and say, oh, man, that shoe whack. Nah, I'm like, man, whatever. Because dude, he know what he can do. You know what I'm saying? Or shout out to my producer, Pert. You know, man, he's a rapper. If I say you suck, he know he's a rapper. Like, he know he can rap.
Yeah.
So what makes certain things, I guess, sensitive to certain people who know that's what I can do?
Like, I mean, it kind of goes back to the whole thing, but like, your product is your baby. So it's like, while that may not bother Nard publicly, subconsciously it may. Okay. You know, it's like I put that video when I went to the food contest, and I'm looking at the footage, and the footage is bothering me, but everybody else is looking at the video, and they're like, man, this is dope as shit. This is dope. The only person that said something that was negative, it wasn't even negative. He was just like, man, this is dope. The only thing you need to fix is there's too much green, like a green color cast on the footage. Which I went back and fixed because he said that, and I was able to understand, okay, that's something that I need to fix and go back and correct. So then after he explained it, I understood, okay, cool, this is where we're going to go with that, and that's how this is, you know, can be rectified. But at the same time, when you're sensitive about your work, a lot of it has to do with the fact that as a creative and as an artist, that's your baby. You're making something that nobody's seen before. This is all new to everybody that's around you. And so now when you're making these things, people are going to look at it and they're going to say, okay, I'm putting out a product And I put out this product, and I'm thinking this is the best thing that I've ever done to this point. And I put it out, and everybody's loving it. You have 1,000 comments of people loving it. 1,001. That's trash. That comment might stick out to you. Because what you want to figure out is, why do they feel this is trash? Everybody else said this is golden.
Well, I guess it's like the one negative review you were talking about when you...
Yeah, it's like, why? And you don't even say why it's trash. Like, you said it's trash. You didn't even explain why it's trash. You just said it's trash and you left it at that. Like, that's vague as hell. If you're going to tell me something I did is trash, explain why. Like, I don't care if you said it's trash, but what I want to understand is what then you like about it. Because it may just not be your cup of tea. We talk about that with music all the time. Some people will say Sauce Walka is dope. Some people say Sauce Walka is trash. Some people say Some Thug is dope. Some people say Some Thug is trash. Some people think Kendrick Lamar sucks. I think he's one of the greatest ever. But it just depends on how you perceive and take in art. So certain, like Picasso to me, average artist. Graffiti to me is doper than what Picasso did. Comic book stuff is doper than me than what Leonardo whatever did. But that's because that's my style of art that I like. That doesn't mean they suck. That just means I like this better than what this other person did. It's because it's more my cup of tea. So like my wife loves color pictures. I love black and white. So when I put stuff in black and white, she's like, why do you put everything in black and white? There's just something about black and white pictures. They just give more of an emotion to me than color pictures. There's something about the emotion that they exude. And so, but that's because there are different perspectives of art.
Yeah.
And so she loves color. She loves bright colors and things like that. I love darkness.
Is it kind of like that what's it we call like that is a dress blue or gold?
Yeah, exactly.
Like some people see that and that's their preferences. Some people's wired to see this, and then that becomes their preference.
We see things completely different. Something can happen right now in the middle of this room, and if you ask 4 people in this room what happened, we're all going to have slightly different takes of what we saw and how it happened. And it's just because of, one, our experiences are going to mold how we even take in what's happening. You ever see somebody say, man, he was disrespectful, he disrespected you, and somebody said, man, now you tripping, you taking that the wrong way.
Or that's how they talk, this is how they, like, it happens a lot with foreigners. Like my dad's Nigerian, we go to the casino, you know what I mean, and we just sitting there, play the card game, and the dealer pop off. It's like, you don't have to be rude. I'm like, hey, what did he say? You know what I'm saying? He was like, what did he say?
My mother-in-law is the same exact way. My mother-in-law is very, assertive. Right? And for most people, assertive is kind of like pushy.
I'm about to say.
And especially from a woman, it's kind of off-putting for a lot of people. So I'm used to it because that's my mother-in-law. But a lot of people, they kind of like, it kind of are bothered by it. But I'm like, it don't bother. It used to bother me in the beginning, but it doesn't bother me now because I know her now. So I know she doesn't mean anything by it. It's just her, her demeanor, her nature. Yeah. So the thing is, when you don't know somebody, it makes things differently. It's the same thing like with this whole Kanye West situation. I've been a Kanye West fan forever. That was my favorite rapper. So when everybody's dogging him and mad at him about what he's saying and how he's handling things, I don't see it from that same lens. I understand why they see it that way, but I don't. And because I don't see it that way, they get pissed off at me. Like, you a coon. How could you possibly not see that he's the detriment to black people? I'm just like, shit, nigga, we was in a bad position before he ever even supported him. How? But it's just the way everybody perceives things and how we're wired to think that if people don't think the same way that I think, or they don't look at things the same way that I think, or see them, then they're terrible people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'm glad you mentioned that because we're definitely going to get into this Kanye subject. I mean, we covered Kanye extensively, definitely on the first episode. Shout out to my producer Trey. Well, we definitely touched on that and Hurt Pert. He definitely did his rant and got his rant on. But I wanted to know, definitely because I know you are a Kanye fan, and I know based on conversations we had prior to, you can definitely separate your personal feelings from what Kanye said versus is this dude still a genius in the studio? Yeah. Also, and we did touch on politics, but when we kind of started here, one, what did you really personally think about the Kanye stuff, like from the beginning, the TMZ quote, from the Charlemagne interview, from the sunken place issues, all the way to the White House visit? And do you think Kanye had some type of influence on these elections?
Here's my thing about Kanye and entertainers, period. We forget that they're human. They're not robots, right? And they have their own thoughts and personalities in the way that they handle and go about things. We get kind of caught up in the fact that somebody's black, they're going to think exactly like how every other black person thinks, right? Kanye West is rich. Just like 50 Cent is rich. For all intents and purposes, in a perfect type of scenario, they would be Republican. Just from that lens, period, because they have money.
Rich,
We're rich, Republican.
Judging off of finances.
Finances, period, right? So when we dive into this thing, I get where he's coming from, because my thing is that for so long, black people had this issue with white people, and their thing was that, okay, cool, white people hate us, we'll just fight them with hate. The thing is that you can't really beat out the person that invented hate. Like, they're good at it. They're the LeBron of hate, like MJ of hate. Like, it's like, if you're not gonna, you can't beat out that with that, because when you have the people that run infrastructure and the power. So when he says, hey, I'm gonna try love, I get it. His thing is, I'm a celebrity. I have a huge ego. This guy's a celebrity. He has a huge ego. I speak his language. Let me go sit down and talk to him and figure out if I can get on the same frequency with him, and figure out if maybe we can, figure some things out to meet in the middle. Because it can go one of two ways. Either he doesn't want to talk to him and deal with him, or he can keep doing the shit that we think that is terrible. We're talking about Trump. He can keep doing the things that we feel are terrible, and nothing changes. Because he don't have to talk to anybody that's black. That's what we forget, is he don't have to meet with nobody. He's the president. He can be like, whatever. Nah, I don't talk to him. I don't talk to Kanye, Wanye, whatever. None of them. Send me all white dudes. But he sat down and talked to him, and the thing was that some of the stuff that he said was good. Some of the stuff he said, he rambling. That's anybody. Everybody thinks they're smart, but you
see yourself on camera.
You seem smart to a dumb motherfucker all the time.
Yes.
Until you in the room with some other smart motherfuckers, and you're like, shit, I ain't really that damn smart. So it's like, that's the thing, is that you're sitting there and you acting like, oh, if you were sitting there in front of the president, you would just have this grand presentation of all the things that you're going to say. You don't have a plan either. We're literally throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks. That's all it is. That's us on Facebook. That's literally a Facebook conversation between the president and Kanye West and the other dudes that were there. Period. So when I don't have this huge gripe about him going to go sit down with the president, the same thing like when Steve Harvey went to go sit down with him, and any other black person that went to go sit down with him, I don't care. Because my thing is, at the end of the day, I still have to get up tomorrow and go to work and figure out how I'm going to make money. Regardless of how him and Kanye deal with each other. Nothing changes overnight. Nothing's going to change in my wallet for me overnight because they sat down and talked to each other, whether he said something dumb or highly intelligent. And we forget that. We get caught up in, oh, he was over there, he was talking about abolishing slavery and all that stuff. I'm just like, okay, cool. He said some things. Kanye did a thing. Wow. Now what? How long are we going to be upset about this? Yeah. And then we're going to move forward and be like, okay, cool. Then we're going to wait a week and then we're going to be mad about something else. Yet nothing changed. Like, whether we feel Kanye West had an impact on these elections or not, people still didn't get out and go vote. So your anger wasn't enough to make you go out and go vote. For a lot of people, it's like, you upset and you on Facebook pissed off because he would have sat down with Trump. But a lot of y'all that was pissed off didn't even go vote.
So what you think about his whole I feel used back,
Okay, so the whole thing about Brexit. Okay, what it is, he's right. He was used.
I know,
because there's two. It's basically like two versions. It's kind of like the Me Too movement.
Yeah,
started by black women, hijacked by the white feminist movement. Right. It's the same thing with Brexit. There was a thing of them explaining how basically they were going to help black people, but they made Candace Owens the face of Brexit and then spun it. Or whatever. And so that ain't what he signed up for. He signed up for something else, but they put her dumb ass behind it and then made it what it was. And that's why he felt used, because if you're a fan of Kanye West, you know he leads with good intentions. You know that his thing is, I want to do something good. He may not be the best at implementing it. It's the same thing with integration. Martin Luther King had a great idea. The implementation of it was terrible. Idea is great. We do this all the time. We'll have great ideas. We'll be like, okay, I'm gonna make cookies. But sometimes it don't come out. It don't work so well. You might have all the ingredients, but if you don't mix them right and at the right times, you're gonna mess up. And so that's the thing, is that while whether he feels used or not, only what people are going to see is what the end result is. So we don't care about like we've gotten away from caring about what people's intentions are and more so worrying about what our feelings are about a situation. So we want to be upset before we be understanding. Any time of that's like most people are like, let me be upset first, and then maybe I might want to be understanding later. And it's like now I've been pissed off for a whole week, and then if somebody hits you with a little piece of knowledge and the light bulb go off, oh, you know what? Kanye is kind of right. I've seen plenty of people who were down Kanye's throat about certain things that all of a sudden he donated to the Democratic the lady in Illinois. All of a sudden, oh, Kanye West, he's coming out of the sunken place. Kanye West said he was in the sunken place, and I hate that he said that because they gave everybody this excuse to say that. Yeah. My thing is he's always leading with good intentions. Because everybody's like, oh, he Kanye West, he just want attention. He's Kanye West. He's going to get attention regardless. I hate that statement.
You had just brought up something that we had talked about, and the question I had asked was, you know, he had brought up the violence in Chicago and talking about Larry Hoover, if he was out this and this and that. And I had asked this question, and I was like, well, with all the backlash that he's getting, just like how Kim K went there and got the lady out.
Alice Johnson.
If Kanye's visit ends up being what got Larry Hoover, if it happens, if he gets Larry Hoover, or if he, you know, if Trump gets him out and it became Kanye's the reason why, will all of that be like, oh, okay, I see why he did it? Or do you think it'll still be?
No, because we discount the fact that some people just want to be upset. Like that, like no matter how much great you do, it's like I could have gave you $1 million and somebody's gonna say, why you didn't give $1,000,001? We have this. Some people have this incessant need to be upset about something all the time and to spin it no matter what. So it's like, and I understand. Like, it's like you ever look at a movie review and somebody sees something in a movie that you're like, bro, I would have never paid attention to that. Like, I didn't even care about that. It was like, yeah, man, on this part of the screen, his suit turned a little orange. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? But that's what that goes back to how your art and how your lenses are. So we're gonna look at things differently. When I'm looking at Kanye sit down and talk to Trump, I'm not looking to be upset about what he's saying. I just want to hear what he's saying, and then let me kind of break it down and decipher for myself. I don't want to go read the Facebook comments to form my opinion, because that's where a lot of people get, is they go to Facebook comments and Twitter and Instagram to form their opinion about whatever the situation is.
And not even the comments, like the articles are fake. You know what I mean? It might be a misleading headline, and then you actually go in a link, or it's a soundbite, or the link is.
But he said that. He said that in the interview. He was like, y'all looking for sound bites, but these ain't sound bites. This is a fine wine. This is a fine wine. He was talking this shit. Like, he was literally at the White House talking this shit. And I get it. I understand why people will be upset about some of the things that he was saying. I don't ever diminish that aspect of the argument, is that I understand why you feel the way you feel. I just don't feel that way. Because I understand that no matter what, we watched somebody who spoke well, Obama, for 8 years, still get railroaded by the House and the Senate all the time. And no matter how well you speak, no matter how great you are of a speaker and how intelligent you are, you still have people that you got to go through to get shit done. So it's like, we're looking at Kanye, like, well, Kanye, he is the best person to articulate that. If we had somebody that could articulate every point of our dreams, great. And he was still being railroaded all the time. So it ain't about being smart. It's about what can you get done and get accomplished. Kim K went there with no political background, no nothing, and she got Alice Johnson out. I don't know what the hell she did, whether it was he disliked Kim K or whatever, but she got her out. So Umar Johnson didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Al Sharpton or Quanell X. It was Kim K. Regardless of how you feel about her, she got something done that nobody else did. And so I get people being upset about all these different things, but the thing is that we have to look from this perspective of what are we trying to get to, and what is the end result? All this being upset ain't gonna change shit. You be upset all day long, but it still ain't gonna change nothing. Be mad and then fix it.
Facts. All right, we're gonna wrap up. One last thing though. We got a few more minutes. Because again, I know you, and I know you can take it to a level that makes someone want to kill you. All right, now we had a conversation about the whole Drake and Pusha, but more like, is there a line? Is there a too far?
I'm the king of too far sometimes.
Facts.
From comments to roast or whatever, it's like at the end of the day, I just feel like when you jump in that arena, and my thing is these are two people that don't like each other. So there's rules when it comes to me and you. If me and you talking about each other, I'm not going to talk about your kids. I'm not going to talk about your mom and daddy. We friends.
Yeah.
Now, we don't like each other. That's different. I've seen people that don't like each other on Facebook talk about, like, some dude today told one of the chicks because she was talking about the whole R. Kelly thing and saying people that supporting R. Kelly, whatever, sick or whatever this and that. He was like, if a motherfucker would try to talk to my daughter, I'm going to be down, you know, whatever. They going to get it or whatever, this and that, right? And the dude responds, your daughter's ugly. You would never have to worry about that. So now she's pissed at him, but I'm like, but the thing is that everybody's not going to respond to you in the same manner in which you come at them, and you have to realize that. So when we talk about limits, you're talking about two people that actually don't like each other. These aren't dudes that was ever friends. They actually don't like each other. Like, these are two people that will swing on each other if they saw each other. So what rules are there? If I'm fighting you and you don't like me, you're going to be like, well, I'm not going to hit him too hard. I'm just going to punch him in the chest a little bit.
Right.
How you going to be trying to hurt me?
It's like if I push you and you shoot me, how can I get mad? I don't know how hard that push hurt. Yeah.
So the thing is, ain't no rules. I don't care. Like, I get it. It was so, like, when I initially, my thing is, that's another thing about lenses. When I watched that whole thing with Drake and LeBron, you know I'm a LeBron fan. That's my favorite basketball player. So I'm watching it, and the initial thing is I'm on the side of Drake now. I'm like, yeah, I get it, man. Drake, yeah, man. Kanye messed up. Pusha messed up. And I sat and think about it. I'm like, this nigga Drake weak as shit. He's sitting there like, yeah, man. LeBron, what did I tell you? What did I tell you when you called me? It was like, yeah, don't let him talk to you like that. Don't let him treat you that way. You know, I'm like, nigga, who is he? Like, who? Like, why is he even calling LeBron? And then I'm like, that's the whole thing. Like with Dave Chappelle. What would Ja Rule do at a time like this? Like, nigga, why'd you call LeBron? You all the people you can talk to, and you called fucking LeBron. Like, yeah, hey, Pusha T, LeBron said that, you know, I don't need to respond to you because he's LeBron and he got Sprite commercials. Like, nigga, I don't care about, like, it was like, in the beginning when I watched it, it was dope to me. Then the second I thought about it, I was like, that looked weak. That was like a weak show of emotions and manhood to me. Like, bruh, swing back. Don't come on here talking about, yeah, man, I had something that would have ended his career. Didn't do it.
Hey, man, Jay Prince, they want bad news to meet him home, man.
Yeah, you on here talking about you could have did all that. That was the dumb thing to me. It was like you let that man stop you from saying something, but then you went on to say all the things that you would have done to him, and then you would have took your Popeye spinach and you would have been able to knock him out. Like, no, do it. Don't tell us after the fact, like, yeah, man, I ain't put it out because, man, it was some bad stuff. Yeah. What can you really say? Besides the fact that you might have slept with Kim K or you might have slept with Pusha T's wife or whatever before that was it. Like, whatever. Okay, cool. And say it. He went hard at your partner. I'm sorry, ain't no rules. You went at my partner, you said my partner damn near dead. I'm going at your head. Period. Ain't no rules to this.
All right, man. Shoot, we can go on and on and
Straight
on.
up.
Man, I'm glad it was the first episode, though, man. But look, everybody has to go through it. Got to put you on the hot seat. I know my boy Pert over there, he wants to know. Top 5. If you're stranded on a desert island, you only had 5 artists catalog. Think about catalog. Catalog-wise, right? 5 artists, catalog-wise. You can only listen to those 5. Who would your 5 be?
Well, you know I'm going to have to go with Kanye. It's number 1. We're going to go Jay-Z.
Okay.
Okay, Kanye, Jay. I want to go with Lil Jon because I need my ratchet. I need that record because you know he has a hell of a catalog.
I mean, as far as features and production.
And then if we gonna go, we're gonna go mixtapes. I want all the DJ drama stuff. Cause you got Can't Ban the Snowman, you got the T.I. Right Down with the King. You got all these great mixtapes under the DJ drama umbrella, right? And let's see number 5. Let me see. I'm gonna go. Something that'll keep me calm. I might go with a look. Probably Talib. I go Talib.
No Kendrick.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Yeah. I was still going like Talib.
No Kendrick.
Yeah. That's tough too. That's one of my favorite rappers. But yeah.
Oh man, dang! Appreciate you for definitely coming out, man.
Definitely appreciate you having me, man.
You got to come back because we got to finish some stuff. We got to finish on some topics and yeah, man, it's a pleasure, man.
Most definitely, man.
All right.
Appreciate you for having me.
This is an always press record production.
The Sit Down is brought to you by PowerHits281.com.